Okay. I'm trying to think right now because what my brain is processing right now is that it's some so like what you were saying, someone would have to intentionally turned it off, and then they turned it off. Now, did was that they turned it off right before getting into Vietnamese airspace?
Entered Vietnamese airspace. They did their handshake,
Yep.
right? So they communicated with them. So the Vietnamese knew they were there.
Yep.
Shut it off.
And then if you look at the map, like a hard left to go
Left, basically turning around. Yeah. Like hard enough that an autopilot wouldn't do it. So like autopilots can turn, especially if they malfunction. But this was a very clear, deliberate turn.
So okay. Here's the thing. Okay, there's two people in that cockpit together, right?
Yes.
So my thought process is the one of them would have had to either really convince it. So the one who had been a pilot for 30 years, he had to have really convinced the other co-pilot, like, hey, we need to turn around like right now for whatever reason. But but my gut says is like, hey, if this was his last flight before he was going to be good on his own, I don't think he would allow that to happen. Whereas like, hey, we need to stay the course. But then again, you don't want to get into like a fight in the cockpit and like everyone's moving the joystick around and everything like that. You know what I mean? So it could have been
especially with a super experienced guy. You know, if he's telling you we got to turn around, I mean, you probably listen to him.
Well, that too. I could see that perspective where it's like if you're in a job, any job really, and someone who's been there for 30 years is like, hey, we need to do it this way. You're probably gonna listen. You know, it's just instinctively that's what you're gonna do. I find it so weird though. That's
After 18 minutes, they did contact the Malaysian Airlines and were like, hey, have you guys seen your plane? And they're like, what are you talking about? And like, no, it should be in your airspace now. So then they start scrambling and it's disappeared, and they start trying to assemble some sort of search party to figure out where it went. Now, here's where the second breakdown of communication happened. Turns out the Malaysian army was tracking it with primary radar, that good old thing with the bleeps and the bloops, where it's physical objects, right? There's not a lot of information, but you can see it on a radar screen.
Yep.
They were tracking it, didn't tell anybody. So the search started in the completely wrong area because no one knew they turned around.
So, okay. So here's the thing though, would there be any justification why the Malaysian, was it the Malaysian military?
Mm-hmm.
Would there be any reason why they wouldn't tell? You know what I mean?
Just like the same reason they waited 18 minutes. It was pure negligence.
Okay.
Pure and simple negligence. And then the longer it went on, the less they wanted to say something, right? Because the longer you wait, the more it's like trouble you were in. Yeah. So you're not going to say something, but then you get in more trouble. So it kind of spiraled out like that.
Okay.
But eventually they did tell him that, hey, no, actually we were tracking this thing. It made a hard left and started heading this direction, and then we lost it. Now there's another system that was tracking them called MRSAT.
How long was it before the military actually told everyone? Like it's
like a day later, I think.
A day?
It was a long fucking time. Like the search for this plane went on for 2 years, by the way.
That is something weird.